Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Pantydeal Podcast. I am your host for today. I'm Dragon Lady 22 on Pantydeal. I am delighted to be hosting the Pantydeal Podcast. And if you haven't already checked out our previous episodes, please do so. We've covered a lot of different topics to do with getting started as a panty seller on Pantydeal, as well as what it takes to be a successful panty seller. So those are really worth checking out if you're new to the site, or even if you feel like you could do with a little bit of a refresher. We also, in our last episode, interviewed one of the Pantydeal sellers, a successful panty seller called Davison V, and that was a really useful podcast episode. So please do check that one out as well. But for today, we are going to be talking about what panty sellers sell on Pantydeal. Now, at first glance, that may feel like a very obvious question. It's Pantydeal, of course, we're selling panties. But the truth is that there is a lot more you can add to your shop that will satisfy a greater number of potential buyers on the site. So yes, of course, a lot of buyers come to Pantydeal because they want to buy panties. But there are also a number of buyers who are interested in other items. And if you're new to the site, especially when I started, so I've been selling for just over 8 months now, I think, on Pantydeal. And when I first started, I had no idea just what was possible in terms of what I could be potentially selling on my shop. So it's really useful that we cover this topic so that you're aware of different things that you could be experimenting with regards to selling. So once you've started on Pantydeal, and if you're paying attention in the first few days, which I'm sure you do, you soon get to see that other Pantydeal sellers are selling a lot more than just panties, okay? So that's what we're going to look at today. What are the available different options that you can sell that's going to, let's be honest, increase your revenue? Because the more things that you can sell, the greater chances of making sales you have. So that's what we're going to look at. So let's get started then. What other items can you sell? Well, of course, we're going to look at underwear and clothing. So panties is a given. I don't need to talk about that. But as well as all the different types of panties, you can sell other types of underwear. Okay, so what am I talking about? Bras are very popular. Things like negligees, camisoles, garter straps, stockings, socks and pantyhose, suspenders, all of those things can fetch very good prices on Pantydeal, okay? So when you're thinking about underwear, it's not just panties. You can, venture out into any type of clothing, really. What I found is that workout clothes, especially leggings, seem to be very popular, as well as tops and skirts and sleepwear. So anything really that you wear is potentially up for sale on Pantydeal. So those are just some of the items that you might see posted by big sellers on the site. And the key here is to think outside of the box, right? Or outside of the panty drawer, and just see what items you're happy to part with. So, there may be some old worn items that you think that nobody would ever want to buy. And that's just not the case. There are buyers out there who are specifically looking for your old and very used, very worn items of clothing. In fact, those can be specifically what they're after, rather than something that's maybe a bit newer or fancier or prettier, so I've made that mistake myself and thought, oh, there's no way anyone would be interested in, this item, this awful, torn, holy, disgusting item, of clothing. And actually, those are the items that I've ended up selling. So just pay attention to what other people are selling and see if there's anything that you're willing to part with that you can just put in your shop and see if there's a taker out there. Okay, that leads us on to our second item, which is shoes and footwear. Now, if you're new to Pantydeal or to the fetish world in general, and that was certainly the case for me, you may not be familiar with feet fetishes or foot fetishes, whatever way you want to pronounce it. So like I said, when I started selling on Pantydeal, I really wasn't too familiar with any of the kind of major fetishes. But of course, feet are big business, okay? And there are plenty of buyers on Pantydeal who are interested in your feet. So this is another popular request. And a lot of sellers take advantage of this by selling their used shoes or socks or anything foot related in general. And again, this comes back to my previous point about you may have a pair of shoes that are really worn and, disgusting and they're ready for the bin. You wouldn't even give them to a charity shop. They're that worn. And trust me, there are buyers who are looking for those types of shoes in particular. So, again, this is just something that you can have a look in your wardrobe and go, okay, what's worth, posting an advert and just seeing if anyone's interested. And you'll be surprised, okay? So it's all types of shoes. So we're talking about high heels, we're talking about flats, sandals, anything. There is a buyer out there interested in your footwear, okay? So if you have a lot of shoes, and let's face it, a lot of women do. I know that I have too many shoes. Are you happy to part with some, okay? And if so, create some photo sets and put them out there on the shop and see what takes, okay? So that leads us on very nicely to pictures. It's not uncommon for buyers to appreciate some additional pictures in with their panty order, and you may find that most sellers just include that as standard. Now, again, going on my own experience, when I started on the site, the first thing that I sold was just panties, and that was it. But then I got to see that photos are requested quite regularly and also sold. So clearly this is something that a lot of Pantydeal buyers are interested in. So I decided to start offering some pictures alongside my orders and then as standalone items by themselves. So this can be a photo set that you create that you decide that you want to sell. So as we've already mentioned, perhaps you've got really nice feet and you want to target the buyers who are interested in the foot fetish. So you take some pictures of your feet and you include that as a standalone item in your shop. But it doesn't just have to be your feet, of course. It could be anything. You could have a nice ass, or you could have great curves, or perhaps you want to, just include a range of sexy photos, or, anything like a strip tease, or there's so many options available, and you don't have to show your face. This is a major question that I get asked quite a lot of the time. Should I show my face? Does that make a difference? And of course, there are buyers out there who want to see what you look like. Of course, that will make a difference to your sales, but you don't have to. Equally, there are buyers who understand you may not want to show your face for whatever reason, and they're happy just to buy pictures from you anyway. And that's been my experience. So don't feel like you have to show your face in order to sell pictures, because that's absolutely not the case. I've made quite a lot of money from pictures and I've never shown my face. I have my face as my profile picture, but that's it. So I just wanted to put that out there for those of you who are sitting there thinking that they have to. And in some cases, remaining anonymous and having that sort of mysterious edge about you is a good thing. So as I said, putting together different photo sets is great fun. And it's a welcome addition to your store. So just have fun with it. Maybe you have some lovely, sexy lingerie that you want to showcase, or maybe you want to do completely nude pictures. It really is up to you. Perhaps you have some cosplay costumes that you can try out. I mean, really, the sky is the limit when it comes to picture sets. Yes, you can see what other sellers are doing. And yes, you could do some research online even. But, just put together something that is uniquely you, as we've talked about in previous episodes. Something where your personality is shining through. And a great place to see this in action is the Pantydeal contest. You'll see that a lot of the entries are very different and unique depending on the seller who is involved. And that's the same with your picture sets, okay? But the one thing that I would say is just make sure as we talked about, I think in episode 1, that if you're going to take pictures, that they're well lit and that, you take some time to think about the background of the shot and all that sort of thing. Just, put some effort into it is basically what I'm saying. But have fun. And really, the other thing I want to mention is you don't have to have specialist equipment for this. I take all of my pictures on my iPhone, and that's always just been enough. I've maybe edited the lighting slightly just to make sure that they're bright and, nice to look at. But really, you don't have to have a high quality camera in order to sell pictures. Certainly, it doesn't hurt if you want to do that. But like I said, you can keep it simple and it will be just as effective. The most important thing is that you have fun, okay? If it's not fun, why would you do it? So just experiment and see what works for you. So leading on from that then, another item that you may want to include in your shop is videos. So perhaps once you've taken a few sultry shots, you decide that you'd like to experiment with some videos as well. Sexy videos are big business on Pantydeal, and many sellers will tell you that they're actually their highest selling items. Now again, there's no pressure. You don't have to do videos if you don't want to. However, when you are maybe having a break in between selling panties, or maybe there's a few days where you're wearing and you can't sell to anyone else, having some videos and some pictures to be able to sell will certainly help to supplement your income on those quieter days. So it's sometimes a good thing to have, but again, there's absolutely no pressure. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Some sellers decide to just have really short and snappy videos that are just a few minutes in length, and others decide to do more feature length videos, or you could have a combination of the two. Really, it's up to you, but most videos are priced per minute. So if they are longer in length, then of course you can ask for more money for those. You'll see from the overview page that some sellers actually sell their videos individually and they post each item individually in their shop, or you can just have one advert for all videos where you create a list in something like Pic Collage or Canva or whatever works for you, and therefore they just have to go there and they can see all the videos in one place that you have. So again, it's up to you, or you could do a combination of the two. You could list every single video for sale in your shop, and you could also have just one advert for, all your videos where they can go to one place and see exactly what you sell. So keep an eye on what other sellers are selling. Like I said, we never copy other sellers. That's not a good thing to do. But certainly you can get an idea from what other sellers are posting on overview as to what the most popular types of videos are. And therefore, if you see them being posted, the chances are those are the things that buyers are looking for specifically. But it doesn't hurt for you to come up with your own unique video ideas. Again, the sky is absolutely the limit as long as you stay within your own boundaries of what you're comfortable with. As I said, videos can be sold individually, but you can also put together bundle deals of 3 or more. So say you had 3 really popular videos, you may decide to sell them as a bundle and, title them best sellers, and that way somebody can just come in, they maybe get all 3 for a slightly lower price than they would have if they had bought those 3 individually, and they can get a good sense of what your videos are all about, and you could do themes. It's really up to you. The other thing that people do is they upload all of their videos to the cloud. So for example, a G Drive or Dropbox, and they sell the access to the entire cloud to their buyers. So again, this is a really good way for buyers to save money because they're getting access to your videos, but for a much lower amount than it would have cost them had they bought all of the videos individually. What you can also offer with that is lifetime access, so that any new videos that you upload, they automatically get access to them within your drive. And again, that is a really big seller on Pantydeal. There are buyers who are just really interested in you and they want to see every single video that you make, and therefore they're quite happy to pay a premium to have lifetime access to your drive. Again, it can be short videos, medium length, long videos, it really doesn't matter, or a combination of all of them. But it's just a really nice way to have an additional item in your shop that can generate a lot of additional income for you. So moving on from that then, the next thing that you may decide to sell are custom pictures and videos. So what does that mean? Well, that's where the buyer specifically requests what they would like to see you do in photos or videos. So it's very different with what we've talked about previously. You have been the person that decides what you're going to take pictures of or what you're going to create videos around. But with a custom request, the buyer is saying, this is what I would like to see. And then you create something that is bespoke to them. So this actually garners a much higher price because this is very custom specific to that particular buyer. So it could be, for example, that they want you to say their name personally. So you can see why that would actually cost more than a pre-made video, for example. So if you decide to offer this as an option in your store, it's possible that you're going to receive a lot of different types of requests. Now, you may not want to do every single one, but it's really interesting because you get to see the kinds of things that are obviously very popular amongst the buyers on Pantydeal. And from that, you can decide to make your own pre-made videos around some of those themes or topics for future buyers. So it's actually really interesting to get that insight as to what buyers are looking for in a custom video. Again, as I've mentioned all through this episode, it's if something is outside of your comfort zone, it's absolutely okay to say that that's the case and that you will not be able to, on this occasion, make the video for the person. And you can refer them to somebody else who you feel may be able to help, or not. But again, it's really important that you stay within the boundaries of what you feel comfortable with, okay? So, as I said, custom pictures and videos, they can lead to interesting new ideas for you to create videos, but also, as I mentioned, uploading videos to your drive earlier, it's not uncommon for sellers who have created custom videos to then include them in their drive or go on to sell them in their shop as a pre-made video. So it's all about deciding whether this is a video that you would like to resell on to other buyers. Perhaps if it includes the buyer's name, you may not feel comfortable with that, and that's fine. But again, it's just something that you can add to your inventory. Okay, so moving on to our next item then, another additional option that some sellers decide to sell on Pantydeal is some kind of phone sex or online session or a Skype session. And these are just alternative ways for you to connect with buyers. And obviously they then pay you for your time. Usually that's priced per minute. But as you'd expect, live cam work, that's what it's called, over something like Skype, it commands a much higher price. But it depends really. You're free to decide your own prices based on the length of the session, whether there's live video or pictures, or whether you're just going to share some pre-made pictures that you have, whether any of that's included and shared during the session. But you can also offer discounts for, a block number of sessions between you and the buyer. So really just put together a rough price list for you. But as I said, because it's live and in person, normally this commands a slightly higher fee. Another thing that you can do is you can team up with other Pantydeal sellers and offer group sessions for buyers. So that can be quite a nice addition to your shop where actually the buyer is getting to enjoy more than one seller at a time. Another thing that you can do is you can provide audio recordings. So this is something that I've heard a few sellers selling where they are creating an audio for the person. So there's no video included. Maybe they're reading out erotica. So again, these are just lots of different things for you to try out and see what you're comfortable with, and just give it a go. Offer it in your shop and see if anybody's interested, because it doesn't hurt to have it there. If anything, it just broadens your reach. What I did want to say, and this was something that obviously came up last episode with Davison, where we were talking about, you're not always able to fit your work into your personal life. So for example, if you're somebody that has a typical 9-to-5 career, it may not be possible for you to offer this service where you're jumping online to connect with a buyer, and that's absolutely fine. But if there is time, perhaps if you had time around a weekend or an evening, then having this option can certainly boost your income. But again, it's up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, so leading on to our next item then, I believe I'm putting this under the subject of additional miscellaneous items. And this is the kind of thing where you're on overview perhaps, and you see a seller selling something and you think, oh my goodness, I would just never have thought of selling that. So that's what comes under these additional miscellaneous items. So of course there are a number of fetish or taboo items that some buyers may be interested in, and each seller can offer something different to those prospective buyers. But additionally, things like used personal items such as your hairbrush or your toothbrush, a used sex toy, your pillowcase, things like that, just little things that again you wouldn't think personally somebody out there is interested in buying. There is somebody out there that wants to buy it, okay? So this may not be something that you choose to put as a store item. What you could do is put it in your profile description that you are open to requests for personal items, or you may decide to list the items that you have that you would additionally sell. It's up to you, but it just means that you don't have to post lots and lots of different items in your store, but you are letting prospective buyers know that if they want to approach you, you're open-minded, perhaps you could say that, and you're open to any additional requests of what they may be looking for, okay? Again, if this is something that you don't want to be asked for, put it in your profile description. You could just say something along the lines of, at the moment, I am only selling panties, or I am only selling panties and pre-made pictures, okay? And just keep it very honest and direct, and that way buyers know not to approach you for particular items, okay? So as you can see, there's many avenues to be explored here with regards to what you can sell on the site. And it could be that the longer you're on the site, the more you're willing to experiment with alternative options. So for me, like I said, when I first started out, it was strictly panties. And then I moved on to some pictures and some videos and, some alternative items. But then as time has gone on, perhaps if I'm very busy, I would, resort back to just panties or pictures or whatever. So it's something that it doesn't have to be static. You can change and evolve your shop with regards to whatever is going on in life for you. You can add items, you can take items out, whatever you're comfortable with. Just keep adapting and seeing what works. It's all experimentation with regards to, you may find that you get requested for one particular item a lot, and then that becomes your niche item that you offer that maybe a lot of other sellers don't. So, it's a bit of a game, really. It's a bit of an experimentation, throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's sometimes the best way to do it and see what works for you, okay? But like I said, just have fun with it. Do whatever feels comfortable for you. Don't feel any pressure to create or to sell items that don't feel right for you. And just have some fun. See what's out there for you. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this episode of the Pantydeal Podcast. It's been my absolute pleasure to host for today. And I hope you have a great week selling, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.